have ants taking over my kitchen. And like, honestly, who can blame them? Because the kitchen is the heart of the home and it's like the warm, cozy center of the home. So I get it, but also no thank you very much, ants. So the last few weeks have been me like chasing them out with either ant traps or cinnamon. Like I've just poured cinnamon. Like I look like I've started baking, you know, just with total gusto because there's just cinnamon everywhere because they don't like cinnamon. So I am chasing them out with little trails of cinnamon. But it got me thinking because this month in the Chaos to Calm community, we are talking about the kitchen, and the kitchen really is the heart of the home. And the way that the ants are like crowding into my house because it's winter and they're trying to escape the snow and wanting to find some warmth is just like when you have a party or when your family's all home and everybody kind of flocks to the kitchen. And that's because the kitchen just has this great energy. So the kitchen, when we look at the deeper meaning of the rooms, the kitchen is the center of the home. It's known as the heart of the home. And it is the center of connection and communication, especially within our family units or with ourselves. And it is also the center of nourishment. And we can unpack any of those deeper meanings in lots of different ways. So nourishment, for example, you might feel nourished to spend time with your family. And oftentimes that happens because the kitchen is like the center of the home. If you look at like old homes, the kitchen was always the center of the home because that's where the stove was. And so that would be the warmest room in the house, and that's where people would connect. And so we kind of do the same thing. There's this like flocking to the hearth, there's flocking to the fire, and it feels really good, and there's a lot of connection that goes on there, and that can be beautiful. People will come in there and they'll just hang out and talk, make a cup of tea. It's a very warm, cozy space. I went down to my kitchen this morning and I was just kind of hanging out there. And it got me thinking, as I'm looking at my kitchen and I'm starting to kind of process this month as we're kind of exploring the kitchen, I was looking at my own kitchen and thinking, like, what do I love about this space and what do I wish was different? And it got me thinking about the whole concept of living in the spaces of our home. So there's like a whole idea that I want to unpack around the concept of functionality versus beauty. So I am a triple Libra. I like everything pretty. I want things to be gorgeous and beautiful and lovely. And having things beautiful helps me keep them organized because I'm fighting to keep the beauty around me, right? I don't want the clutter around. I want the beauty around. So that can be really helpful. But the other side, this functionality, in my mind is very, very, very important. And so for some people, they are all function. They don't care about beauty. For some people, they're all beauty. They don't care about function. Now, if you're a function person, right? So if you're a function person, that means that you are looking at systems, ease of access to things, labeling, clarity. You want just things right where you need it, right when you need it, accessible and easy for you to get to, right? No fluff, just get straight to it. If you're a beauty person, you want things beautiful. In fact, you may not even want to organize certain things if you do not feel like you can make it as beautiful as you want to. I'd love to organize the kitchen, but then I'd have to paint it. I'd need a new countertop. That's kind of where that beauty comes in because it's like, being organized is not enough. Being organized is simply a function, right? In order to maintain and experience the beauty. And so it can be really difficult to kind of give ourselves enough desire to get organized when we really want beauty. And for many of us, we're kind of in the middle. Right? And some spaces are more functional, some spaces are meant for more beauty, and that's okay. But this inquiry is really important because this helps frame what is going to encourage and motivate you to get organized in these different rooms. And the kitchen is a tricky one because it is so functional, right? We're in there, we're cooking, we're preparing food, we're washing things, right? It is a very functional space, but it is also one of the most highly trafficked spaces in our homes, which means that everybody and their brother is there, right? If your kids bring someone home from school, they're probably going to go in there. If you have a party, they're probably going to go in there. So there's also this very demonstrative space where it needs to be beautiful. And so we're being pulled in two different directions. And why I started thinking about this was because I was looking at my countertops. And I don't particularly have any beautiful decor hanging out there. My downstairs where my kitchen is very dark and it's a little bit like a cave. So I can't have a lot of plants like I do in my office where we have great lighting. I don't love to have a lot of like knickknacks out because then I have to clean them and under them. So I limit my knickknacks because I am a lazy cleaner. Let me just be real with you, because I don't want to clean, so I don't want to do it. So I want it very easy to just wipe off a countertop. And so there's not a lot of knickknacks and stuff. And so there's a lot of open space. And what's not there What's missing, you might ask, is my appliances. My appliances are in my laundry room, which is right off the kitchen on 2 high shelves. And that's great because they're not on the counters and keeps my counters super clear and clean. It also makes me eat girl dinner a lot, which means that like I'll have dinner of like an apple and a handful of cashews or a string cheese and I don't know, some crackers. Like literally I'll forage for whatever I can find. But I'm not cooking. Since I moved into this house, I'm not cooking that much. Like I can count how many times I've really taken time to go and prepare food and make a meal. And if I do, it is more than likely a salad. Like I will create salads for a whole week because guess what? It requires no appliances to do that. And so as I'm sitting here reflecting on the kitchen, I was like, oh my gosh, I focused too much on the aesthetic of the kitchen and not enough on the function. Like I didn't ask myself what I needed when I moved in here. And look, that is very common. When we move into a new house, it takes a superhuman effort to get out of our first place, right? We are like packing and sorting and organizing and purging and donating and hauling and loading and then we transport our stuff. For me, it was in a different state. And then we get to our new house and what are we? We're exhausted. And we're like, I just ran a marathon. You want me to run another one? You want me to put everything away and organize it? It takes time no matter what. Even if you unpack right away, it still takes you living in the space to know what you need, to start to make the shifts that actually create a space that serves you in the highest and best way. And so this is very normal. I haven't done anything wrong. I didn't set up my house wrong at the start. I set up the house at the start the way that I thought it needed to be set up. And now I get to reevaluate what that looks like. I get to think, okay, we're going to do this in a new way. Like, let's see what else is possible. Like, what else would be more functional for me? So when I'm looking at my kitchen, I'm asking myself, okay, what are the things that I need accessible to me? Maybe it's not going to be the most beautiful setup in the world, but what do I have that I can make accessible to me that makes me live a life where I am thriving? Because I will be honest with you, eating salads in the middle of winter does not make me feel like I'm thriving. Like I'm cold, I want warm food, I want to make some soups, but guess what? My slow cooker is in the closet. Oh, and guess what? My rice cooker is in the closet. So the warm, cozy foods that I'd want to eat right now are in the closet. The appliances are in the closet. I need to make a shift. I have to ask myself this very important question. And I also invite you to ask this to yourself also. How can I make this space both functional and beautiful? How can I do both? I don't need to say, okay, well, I'm going to, start cooking more, so I need to leave things out because clearly I'm not cooking if I don't have them out, and then kind of beat myself up and then be like, ugh, I do not like looking at these things. Right? That's not what I want either. I don't want to feel like that anywhere in my house. I want to feel great in my house. So what I want to ask is, how can it be beautiful and functional? So actually, even before we get there, like first I want to ask, what are the things I need to have out, right? What are the things I need to have out? Because just because you have an appliance does not mean that it needs to be out. So we all, I've known people who've had anywhere between 3 and 30 appliances in their kitchen because things just build up. So you want to really ask yourself, what are the appliances that I need on a day-to-day basis? So for me, it's a rice cooker. For me, and I know that might sound lazy, but I've used a rice cooker for like 20 years and I don't know how to make rice anymore without a rice cooker. It doesn't taste horrible. I have attempted. I don't know. I'm capable of making rice that is both soggy and crunchy at the same time. I don't know how that's possible, but it's not a skill set. I have many skills. Making rice is not one of them. So I need my rice cooker. I need my slow cooker. I need my kettle. And if I'm really being indulgent, I want my ice cream maker out because I love making ice cream. I love making people ice cream. I love sharing the ice cream that I make. It just brings me so much joy. So why wouldn't I have my ice cream maker out so I could make ice cream like every couple weeks? That would just be delightful. So those are the things that I'd want to have out. Now the next question. Now a lot of people, when they're getting organized, they will just be like, okay, well that's the function. Well, we also have to ask ourselves, but how can I make that pretty? How can I make it feel pretty so that it feels good to me? Because it's not enough to just go halfway there. So because you know that part of the reason why I don't want to have a lot out is because I don't like cleaning under things, I might use a tray. I might get a pretty tray and put my, maybe my tea kettle on there, make a little tea station or a coffee station for myself, or I might make an ice cream station. And then that way, when I look at it, I feel like I am supported by my house because everything that I need that supports that activity is there. And that feels amazing. And so taking the time to create these little sections to where it feels like an actual zone that, again, is there to support me when I'm living in my home is one of the most important things that we can do. We don't want to stop by just saying, I need my rice cooker out. Like, sure, maybe you need your rice cooker, but do you need anything else with that? Do you want a little station for oil or different flavored salts or anything like that to kind of make you more inspired to use the items in your home? Because you might have a ton of items, but if you're not using them, they may as well not be there. And so we want to invite them to the table, invite all of you to the table, and start to bring these items out into your life, starting to get them used and really helping you to thrive in your life. So 2 quick activities that I'm just going to offer you in case you want to take some of this, philosophy into the streets of your life. So if you have 30 minutes and you just want to make a tweak, my recommendation would be to go into your kitchen and spend 30 minutes, set a timer, and just update or create a zone in 30 minutes, right? Do the best version that you can do in 30 minutes. You can set up like a tea station or a dishwashing station. Like, there are so many times where we're like, doing something in our kitchen where we're like, oh my gosh, if I only had that scrubber, but it's downstairs in the basement, I have to go get it. Just within that 30 minutes, go get it, set it up, set yourself up for success. Those little tiny tolerances that you are just suffering through and dealing with, fix those. You've got 30 minutes. Just take 30 minutes and either set up a system, a little zone in the kitchen that would serve you and help you enjoy your kitchen more, or update something that you've been using that maybe just needs a little bit of refinement. Now, if you don't have 30 minutes, maybe you just have 3 minutes, throw a song on and spend 3 minutes looking for expired items in your pantry or your fridge, because we all have them. So spend 3 minutes looking for expired items, or spend 30 minutes going through and setting up or evolving a zone in your kitchen. For more tips, organizing, tricks, and insights, join me here by subscribing. And if you feel like you want to be a part of the Chaos to Calm community and join us in organizing a different area of the home every single month, we would love to have you. This is your home. Make it somewhere you love. Have a great day.